March. We're starting a new series. Those of you who were here last week, however, you heard Patrick speak of a very high energy of oneness, did you not? There is only one soul. We are all one. Namaste. When the Christ in me beholds the Christ in you, we are one. Namaste. And I know that you were blessed by that, weren't you? And did each and every one of you go out this past week and walk as if you were one with everyone you saw? For sure. You did. We had some attempts? Okay. It is a beautiful truth that at this level of reality takes some work to get to, for us to truly begin to embody and become that vibration. And once we are that vibration, we are that vibration. But we are walking then at a master level. So I was guided to begin perhaps the school of getting there. You guys want to learn how? Yes. All right. In the Aquarian Gospel, Jesus tells us, and we are taught in the introduction particularly, that man has to Christ on three different levels. We Christ in love, we Christ in wisdom, and we Christ in power, force. And Christing is a word that we use metaphysically, which is different than any other faith, because it is about when the love of God, the vibration of God love is dominant and strong and is the only vibration within us. So when we Christ in love, then we have that love of God moving through the way we love, how we love. When we Christ in wisdom, we have that love of God, that presence of God moving through our thoughts and our perceptions and our ability to channel and perceive. And in power, we have the love of God, that power of God, the oneness of God moving through what we create and what we emit into the universe. You see? In the introduction, it says that you will know people who have Christed in love. They love God, they love love, they know love, yet they don't have the capacity to discern, to gather greater wisdom. They're just very loving. So they have to learn that. And they may not also have the capacity for power. Therefore, they're unable to create. Do you see? So, and then there are people who may have the power, but if they don't have the love, what are they going to create? You see, so we have to be on our journey of approaching Christed consciousness, bringing God awareness into every cell of our body, all of our chakras, all of our everything within us as part of the journey. And so this month we're going to do love, wisdom, and power separately. So we can actually break it down just a little bit. So we will learn the consciousness of omnipotence, the consciousness of divine love, omnipotence is power, and the consciousness of the supreme intelligence. And then we can take it in bite sizes. You walk a little this way, a little this way. So we're Christing all at the same time. Does that sound easy? Plan? Okay. You know, I know people love Patrick's services. You all always are telling me how much you love Patrick's services. And I realized I make you work. So let me first say, you signed up for this class. Because we're going to work just a little bit, okay? When we talk about Christing and the love vibration, we look at the walk of Jesus. This is what we're doing. We're looking at the path of the Master. So in the walk of Jesus Christ, we see love always moving through him. He was adored when he was born. Then we have the story when he was 7, when his grandfather, who was wealthy, said to him, "What do you want as a gift from me?" He said, "I want to feed all the children in the village." So he went and gathered up, I think it was 40 children or more, to come to the grandfather's home, and the grandfather fed them, and they had a big party, and Jesus served the children. That was the best gift he could receive, so he could share his love with all these little ones. And then as he grows older, Patrick even mentioned in the service not too long ago when one of the Jewish rabbis asked this little boy what he thought the greatest commandment was. And he said to them, I don't think that there is one. I think it's the love that moves through all of them that's the greatest. Because if you love, you will not do these things. If you love, this will not happen. And it was just a very profound understanding that coming through the eyes of this child. And then as he got a little older, he was about, I think, 10 or 11 when he got to go to Jerusalem where they were actually sacrificing. And he said it bothered him. And he asked the priest, why are we doing this? God doesn't want this. God is a God of love. And they said, get out of here, little kid. And so he went to his teacher, Hillel, and said, I don't understand. God is a God of love. Why do we do this? And Hillel said, let's go find that God of love together. Because he didn't know the God of love that the kid's talking about. And Jesus said, why do we have to go anywhere? Isn't God everywhere? Isn't love everywhere? Can't we just clear ourselves and feel God? And it says Hillel cried. I'm going to teach you now. So even as a child, he sought, how do I feel this love I feel? How do I let it move through my life? And how do I understand what the world is doing? How do I understand what the world is doing? So he was always talking about love. Cleaning our hearts and becoming perfect. So I'm going to take us fast forward. This is 29:20. And Jesus has been teaching, and I think he's like a teenager. I don't know that he may be in his very early 20s. But he's been teaching, and he's offended so many people. He just offends people because he's not in his Israel any longer. He's, in Assyria and India and speaking and teaching in faiths that have different beliefs of God. And he gets in trouble because he said, my God loves everybody. Why do you have a caste system? This doesn't make sense to me. So he gets booted out. So he's just been booted out of the temple that he was actually learning in as a young man. And Achanan is a priest of that faith. Achanan has traveled far to meet this child because the word travels in the circuit that there's this brilliant Jewish child. So Achanan comes to him. First, Achanan sends a message, I'd like to speak to you, and some gifts, and Jesus sends the gifts back. No, thank you. And I think he approaches him another time and says, I really want to talk to you. I don't want to hurt you. And Jesus says, no, thank you. And Achanan at night, in the cover of darkness, goes to see Jesus because Achanan doesn't want anyone to know that he's going to see Jesus. If Jesus came to him, it would be different because he would be in all of his grandeur. He would be in his temple. It would be his world. And the young man has now come to him. Well, that wasn't going to happen. So Achanan appeared at Jesus' abode, which was a hovel of one of the workers because he'd gotten kicked out of the temple for saying God loved everybody. The things we get in trouble for. So Jesus said to him, there is no night where shines the sun. We're in the darkness here. I have no secret messages to give you. In the light, all secrets are revealed. In other words, you're coming to me in the darkness. Why not stand in the light with me? Then Achanan said, I have come from faraway Lahore, that I might learn about the ancient wisdom of this kingdom of the Holy One of which you speak. So I want your wisdom. I have come very far to get your wisdom. And Jesus said, Achanan said, where is the kingdom? Where is the king? Who are the subjects? And what are the laws? Where is this place? Who rules it? Who serves there? And what are the laws of this place? That's religion, isn't it? In a nutshell, when you'd ask that for any religion you went to visit. Jesus said, the kingdom is not far away, but man with mortal eyes can see it not. It is within the heart. Kingdom is within the heart. You need not seek the king in earth, sea, or sky. He is not there, yet is everywhere. He is the Christ of God, universal love. The Christed energy of which we are all a part, universal love, is everywhere. That is the king. And the gate of this dominion is not high. He who enters it must fall down on his knees, and it is not wide. None can carry carnal bundles through. to find the universal love of God, we cannot take our ego with its demands, because that is saying, I am in charge. Yo, God, I am in charge here, and I'm bringing you all my stuff that I want you to do for me. Is that loving? Does that open the door to the kingdom of the heart? Yet isn't that how so many of us pray from time to time? Yeah, we do. The lower self must be transmuted to the spirit self. The body must be washed in the living streams of purity. Again, it's what he said as a child. Can we not purify ourselves so we can hold and become more of this higher vibration? And he's saying the same thing to Ajanin. You must purify the lower self. And Ajanin said, can I become a subject of this king? This king. And Jesus said, you are yourself a king. You are yourself a king. And you may enter through the gate, enter into the space, and be subject of the King of Kings. Simple, right? Everybody's with me so far? Now this is what he has to do it. Ready? You must lay aside your priestly robes. You must stop to serve the Holy One for gold. And you must give your life and all you have in willing service to the sons of men. 3 things. And Jesus said no more. And it says that Ajanin did not understand what was said to him, but he left. It says that he felt the energy and the seeds were put in his heart, and the universal brotherhood found good soil. He journeyed home, seemed to sleep, to pass through the darkest night, and when he woke, the Son of Righteousness had arisen, and he had found the King. That is Ajanin. He is telling the man who is seeking wisdom how to find the spirit of love, how to purify the body so that the spirit of love can be greater within it. Very easy, right? Okay, now here comes the labors. Lay aside your priestly robes. What does that mean? Every one of you, lay aside your priestly robes. You have to give up the identity that you have of yourself in the world. And all of us have an identity that we've built our personality around. We're a good worker, we're a good parent, we're a good partner, we're creative, we're this, we're that. And when we say this about ourselves, it gives us a pumped up sense of being. Has anybody been a good partner? Oh, let me not do that one. Has anybody been a good laborer specific to a skill set and lost your job?
Yes.
And then you spin and you say, who am I? I don't know who I am anymore. I've lost my identity. That's an example that you can really feel. We also do it when we go through divorce. If you have identified yourself with your spouse, that's my other half, that's who I am, and you lose them or you separate from them, you'll spin, I don't know who I am anymore. This is how caught up we get in these identities. These are our priestly robes. They're how we connect with spirit, how we connect with the world. One of the most powerful meditations you can do is when you're meditating and you're sitting and it just moves to a space of you and God. If there is nothing else, there is me and God. In that moment, you have no robes. In that moment, there is nothing but you, your uniqueness, your spirit, you and God. And you'll feel it, and you'll feel powerful, and you'll feel loved, and you'll feel perfect. Perfect. And then you'll open your eyes, and you'll get back in your day, and someone will call you mommy, and someone will call you and say, I need some help, and you will put back on your identity in the world. But if we could literally every day boil down to, it's just me and God, man. It's just me and God. I am great in God. No clothes, no identity. Can you guys feel it? Can you remember feeling that? Yeah, it's very powerful, isn't it? And the more we can feel that, the more we are one with that spiritual energy, the more we can connect. The second thing he said, which is another challenge for us, cease to serve for gold. And he's even saying, cease to serve the Holy One for gold, because he's telling this guy who is a priest for money. It was a totally different system back in the day. But he was amply supplied, and to leave the priesthood means to go into poverty. They didn't have ad hoc priests running around. You were a part of this big, huge thing. And this man was Buddhist. Huge organization. If he steps out of that, who is he? What does he become? For us, cease to seek for gold. I would offer this to you. Honestly, peeps, how many of us still work for the paycheck? And how many of us still, when the paycheck increases a little bit, okay, I'll stay longer. Knowing that your spirit's not happy there. Knowing that your goal, your end goal is the check. When you start serving money, when you start working for money, you are serving money. You are serving money. When you serve money, who is your God? Money. Money becomes your God. And then what do you do when you get your money? You'll spend it on everything because that's your reward. Oh my God, I got to buy this, I got to buy that. Because that's the reward. You have gotten your reward. I worked for the money and I got my reward with the money. We need to change our mindset from working for money to working for God. And you can work for God right where you are. You don't have to change your career. When I was very young, just really getting my feet wet in the laws, and I realized that I could have any job I wanted. Oh my God, do you think I love my job? I did not love my job. Didn't love it. I can have any job I want. Oh my God, this is amazing. Okay. I'm young, like 30-ish. I'm young, still married, young. I'm so excited I can have any job I want. I'm sitting there in excitement. And it's an old story I tell you all the time because it was a pivotal moment in my life. I'm getting onto the expressway, and I can see the exit. And I'm saying, okay, I can quit my job tomorrow, and I can get a job. I can do something else. And I'm pulling onto the exit, and Spirit just right then, boom. You really want to do that? You really think that that's serving God? You really are pushing God if you do that. You are demanding that God now provides something different. And they said so clearly, start serving God where you are and wait for us to guide you where you need to be. Get your butt back to work, but quit working for them and work for me. I'll use them as a channel. Don't work for them, work for me. And then I'm going to guide you when it's time to go. I'm going to guide you when it's time to move on. I'll guide you. And I don't know how long it was, but that is the job that I did leave for, to go back to school, to learn to be a Rohan master, a minister, and started the healing work that I did. That's the job I left from. And when I left, it was the perfect time. And while I was there and I started working for God, guess what happened to me? I changed. I wasn't mad at people anymore for getting in my way. That's on them. I wasn't mad at a client for giving me a hard time. That's on them. Prayed for them. I changed. And I knew that every day God was going to guide me in the way that needed to happen. And I worked for Him. Can you see how you can take that into wherever you are today? You take it in, and the reality is when you start working for God, you move into a different space of supply. We know the name God means I am all that you will ever need. I am the complete supply for your world. When you work for God, now you get that little paycheck of matter, but what are you also getting? You're getting the energy. You're getting the beautiful supply of Father, Mother, God flowing through you. And yes, it'll come through many different channels. It'll come through people giving you what you need. It'll come through every space. But you are in the flow of God. You're in the flow of God. Do you all hear me? One time I've shared this with you before too, we were doing finances and we were looking at losing money in a year, like losing lots of money, and at a year in our church. And I said, Spirit, this is not what I signed up for, but it's not what I want, is what I said. It's not what I want. But Father, Mother, God, if you want us to be overdrawn in energy at the end of this fiscal year, I will stand in it. I stand in it. If that's the experience you want us to have, I will have this experience. It was the end of the fiscal year. We're coming up to the end. And guess what happened? Someone strange, odd, not a current member, would mail a check in. And I think we got 3 different donations. Well, we did not end up in the red that year. We ended up balanced a little bit. It was enough. But we trusted God. And I share this with you because the manna from heaven comes from everywhere. It comes from everywhere. We do not have to look at the employer or the spouse or anything to dictate what we can receive. It comes from everywhere. When I cease to work for gold and I work for God. And that takes us to the last thing he said, give your life in willing service to the sons of men. Every person I have ever talked to in counseling, you know what they ultimately want to do? Help people. Even if they have something they want to create, I want to create this to help people. I want to help people. Across the board, people want to help people. This is natural within us. But we do not help people by making ourselves small. We help people by being the light we are. We help people by sharing our light freely, giving your light in willing service to the sons of men, which means I give my life as I am guided to, and I don't measure your deservability. I don't look at you and say, are you worthy of my light? I don't charge an outrageous thing that says, no, only someone can jump that high is going to get my light. I willingly take my light into the world, serving mankind. If you are attached to people and you think that you have to serve them by going into their level of consciousness, how much good do you bring? Yeah. But if you can hold your gift, your frequency, and take that, what can you bring? Something uplifting and amazing, even if it's not perfectly for them, it's perfect. It's what you got. It's what I got. I got this to express. I have a lot of things to give. You would not come to my house and ask me to make you dinner. I do not have that to give. But I have a lot of things to give. I give what I can. You give what you can. And for someone making dinner, it's a fabulous gift. It's wonderfully appreciated. Doesn't matter what the energy that you are sharing, if you share it willingly for your brother man. So, I've got so many marked in the Bible. So many marked in the Bible. Jesus said repeatedly, love your brother as yourself. Love the Lord your God with your heart and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. One soul. Namaste. One soul. How do you love yourself? If you can know God in that beautiful energy, and if you can serve that spirit that dwells within you, that Christ, that universal love, the Christ, the King, the Christ, universal love, if you can serve universal love in your world, and you're in the flow of support and supply, then you can serve your fellow man, and you are loving the fellow man as you love yourself. If you love yourself this much, you love your fellow man the same. You're not going to amp up a bunch of love. It's going to be the same. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. And we all, in this human condition, fall into less than love for our neighbor. Don't we? We don't mean to. I was on the phone yesterday talking with someone who wasn't doing well, and I'm trying to turn into my neighborhood, and this guy's barreling down my tail, and I am stopped. I have nowhere to go. I inch over to the middle. Don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me. And the guy plows by me on the grass to get around me. I lost my patience. Because I'm talking with someone on the phone that's ill. This is important talk here. And you are trying to move me? So I got totally self-absorbed and lost my patience with him. Not realizing that the guy, as he passed me, looked at me and went, uh-oh. He knew he'd crossed the line there. And I don't know what was on his mind. Maybe he's going to someone that's ill. Maybe he's got something going on. He's no less my brother. And I had to send lots of Reiki back and forgive myself for losing my patience. Do you see how when we get caught in our world and what's happening, we're so apt to not include everybody in the world? So I wanted to tell you more about Agenun. You guys ready? So we're going to, I think just a couple of chapters later, Jesus started traveling and he went to Lahore on a camel. And when he got to Lahore, Agenun greeted him. And Agenun brought him into his home. And Jesus then taught Agenun the wisdom of the mystical mind. He taught him how to heal. He taught him how to talk to the nature spirits. He taught him how to calm the storms, just like Jesus did. And then he taught the people of the village as well how to do these things. And this is what Spirit said. Agenun had to learn to love before Jesus could put the wisdom into him. Agenun had to find that space within him that he could put down his identity, he could put down his need for gold, and he could just become a light to help mankind, to share his gifts, to be brilliant. And then the wisdom of the healing powers, the wisdom of what Jesus knew could come into him, and he could become a leader in his community. Spirit said that love disconnects us from the carnal things, and then we can have the wisdom. And the carnal things are just the things of the world that are temporary. So love, moving through every chakra, moving through our thoughts, moving through our energy field, bringing us patience. The little things of love with our fellow man. Again, Jesus said, love your fellow man repeatedly, over and over and over again. Love your fellow man. The last commandment he gave, love the Lord your God. Love your neighbor as yourself. We have to love ourselves, and we have to love our neighbor as ourselves. Our neighbor is one with us. In the high consciousness of beingness, we are all in this together. So we have so many opportunities this week to actually begin to embody that vibration of love, don't we? Just to go to the space of love and then to serve God in that. Connect, serve, express Christ. Let's go within. Father, Mother God, I ask that your infinite love just create a calm of light over all of us. And from that space, I ask that individual beautiful columns just begin to engulf each person. And I want you to just allow yourself to feel the energy of peace, gentleness, And begin to feel the energy of God's love just coming through the column of light and just surrounding you. The love of God. And take a breath and breathe it in and imagine it can go into the cells of your body. Just let it come into the cells of your body. God, love moves through me now. And I am whole and I can feel it. God's love flows through me now. And let your focus go to your heart. And feel the love of God moving into that heart. I am a child of God. And as you just feel the love, begin to sense a light coming from the heart, going out to the front and the back, your heart chakra opening, a vibration getting strong. I am love. And feel that column of light. God love is all around me. The universal Christ love is all around me and within me. And there is peace. Just feel the oneness for a moment. There's nothing you have to do, nothing you have to say. Just feel the oneness. And God, I ask that you bless each one with the beautiful food, the beautiful light that they need. And we ask to continue to feel your love moving through us all as we go through this day. So there is more than enough to share with the world. Breathe. Feel that gratitude. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Now for your first exercise, you're going to turn to someone next to you, and you're going to look at them, and you're going to say, "You are my brother, and I love you." Did everybody get talked to? Did you guys in the back, everybody get talked to? How'd it feel? Good. All right. How easy is that? That is your homework. Say, "Yay, God." Yay, God.